This is the first of 3 work tables I'm building for my shop, and actually this one's more of a retrofit. I built this table years ago as an outfit table for my table saw, but because it's the only big work surface I have, it's gotten used for a lot of other things, like gluing and painting and welding. It's gotten really beat up, which has made it not usable for a lot of the stuff I used to do with it. Basically anything I don't want to get covered in grease, I can't do on this table. What I need is dedicated tables for specific purposes. So the plan is to turn this one into a full-time welding table by giving it a metal top using some sheets of 12 gauge steel I have left over from another project. Then in future videos, I'm going to make 2 additional tables for some of the other jobs that this table used to do. So I've gotten that sheet cut down to size, and I've gotten all 3 sheets in the orientation that I'm planning to weld them. And it's all kind of a compromise. The issue is that none of these edges are quite the same length, and none of the corners are quite 90 degrees. I've got an orientation that works pretty well, and now the next step is going to be beveling these edges on either side, so that then when I weld it, I can get good penetration. This is the underside of these steel sheets. I welded on these nuts so that I'll be able to bolt the sheet to the table from underneath to keep them shifting around. And I'm gonna make corresponding holes in the plywood, which are gonna be way oversized because I don't wanna have to worry too much about getting those nuts in just the right spot. Then I'm gonna weld on this little tab. It's gonna be like this, sticking out from beneath the table. And that is to give me a convenient place to attach the grounding clamp for when I'm using this table. I've got the holes drilled in the plywood, and I have the first 2 sheets in position here ready for welding. I put clamps on the ends, and then I put my heavy angle clamps along the seam there to help it lie flat as I tack it into place. You probably can't see it in the video, but I tucked an extra sheet of metal underneath that seam just to take the majority of the heat from the weld and prevent the wood underneath from burning. And then when I'm done, I'll try to slide that sheet out. I'll have to go a little bit light on the weld to avoid fusing the top sheets to the bottom sheet, but that shouldn't be a problem. This isn't really a structural joint, it just needs to be smooth. So what would I do differently? The seams are pretty visible. If I didn't already have the steel on hand, I think I'd buy a big sheet, large enough to cover the whole table. I could spend more time with the angle grinder and smooth out those joints, but I was running out of patience and flap discs, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. It could also use a few more bolts to hold it flat against the table, and I would put the grounding tab on the right side of the table, because I'm right-handed, I don't know why I put it on the left. The table is directional because there's a shelf underneath that's off-center, so you can only pull a chair under it from one side. But these are all things that I can fix later if I really want to. Let's end this video with me using the table to weld a couple of scraps together. This fake little project makes the table seem like overkill, like why do I need all this space? But the next project I'm gonna be working on is gonna use pretty much the whole space of this table. I'm gonna be building a 4x8 rolling table with a replaceable MDF top that I'm gonna use for things like glue ups and painting and other messy woodworking related jobs. And that table is gonna have a metal base. So I'm gonna have a metalworking table with a wooden base and a woodworking table with a metal base. So that's interesting. So go ahead and subscribe if you wanna see that project, and thanks for watching.